everybody! Miss Julie's back with another edition of Storytime Craft Club. I'm glad you all came back with me today because what we're going to do today is we're going to create a rockin' rollin' submarine to go along with Mr. Cox's stories today. I love under the sea stories, and he did two really great ones. So if you picked up your kit at the library, what you have found in them, you've got a paper plate that already has some portholes drawn on it and the window right here, and it's also cut for you already, so we don't have to do any cutting today. You're also going to find some fish stickers, and we've got a bag with some blue squares of paper on them. That's going to be our ocean today. Other things that you're going to need for today, you're going to need some crayons, and you're going to need some glue, a glue stick or Elmer's glue. And I like to use Elmer's glue because it doesn't dry quite as fast, but you can use a glue stick if you have one. So what we're going to do first is, I'm going to make a yellow submarine because long time ago, there was a singing group called the Beatles. Hi Everett, it's good to see you too. There was a singing group called the Beatles, and they sang a song called Yellow Submarine. And I was just a little girl back then, but I liked that song. So I'm going to make a yellow submarine. But you don't have to make a yellow submarine. You can make a blue one or a gray one or whatever color you want. But I'm going to take my yellow. And if you look at your plate, right around the outside, you like see grooves in the plate that are around the outside. And in that is a circle. We're going to color that whole circle. We're not going to color over our portholes. We're going to leave those plain so we can make them a different color. I'm going to leave our window a different color. But we're going to color all around this circle. We're going to color the tail. You've got like a little tail right here. We're going to color that. And if you get into the grooves of the plate, that's okay because we're going to cover it up with our squares to make it look like ocean. So I'm just going to color all around this circle. I'm going to do my best not to color inside the porthole. If you go over a little bit, that's okay. Sometimes it's hard to stay outside the lines or inside the lines, whatever you are trying to do. But I'm just going to keep coloring. And like I said, if you get into the ridges of the plate, that's okay. That's going to be covered up. Now, if you have paints and you would rather paint this, you can do that as well if you want to. It's just going to take some time for it to dry. And you can come back and watch this video later if you're waiting for your plate to dry. But if you want to do it with me, let's use crayons. And you'll see kind of a line right here. You're going to color right over that line. We're going to color this whole part. Okay? So this takes a little bit of time. And you're going to try to be careful when you go over the cut area. You're just going to color right over it though. I'm kind of holding it down with my fingers so it doesn't pop up and get color on the table. Because sometimes that's not a good thing. Sometimes our grown-ups don't like us to get colors on the table. I know if I get colors on the table, Miss Julie will have to clean it. I don't want to, so I'm going to try not to get colors on the table. It's kind of fun to color like this, though, because you've got big areas, and you could just kind of scribble all around like you want to, and that's kind of fun. Because sometimes when we're upset or angry or frustrated, coloring like this can make us feel better. I'm not angry today, but if you were, it might help you feel better. Again, I'm being careful not to get the crayon. Don't want the crayon to run under my cut part. Get crayon on the table. If you're having trouble with that, if you have a extra piece of paper or maybe a piece of newspaper that you can stick under this, that would help. That way, if your crayon does get underneath the cut part, it won't get on your table. Almost done. All right. Okay. You see that? Hi, Van. Hi, Daisy. Hi, Remy. You see what I've done there? And there's my cut part right there. I just colored right over top of it. Now what we're going to do is we're going to color the portholes and we're going to color the window, okay? Now on this I have done pink for the portholes and blue for the window. You can use any color you want to. I'm just going to see what color we pull out here. There's an orange. I'm going to do the portholes in orange. And like I said, you can do it just like this one or you can do it a different color if you want to. This is your submarine. I'm going to do all 3 of my portholes orange. You can color your portholes each one different color if you want to. Since I have my orange crayon in my hand, I'm just going to do all 3 of them orange. All right, there's my portholes. I'm going to use a different color for my window. Let's see, I'm going to take a red, or pink actually, and do this, do the window. Now the inside of the window and the portholes, if you wanted to, I color them black, like maybe the lights are off inside right now. If you wanted to do them a different color yellow so you can see them really good, you can do that. If you want to do blue, let's do the inside of these blue. That's what I'm going to do. All right, there's the inside of my portholes and there's the inside of my window. Now you can see on this, maybe you can see, hope you can see good. See the little dots that are around the portholes and around the window? Those are the bolts that attach those to the submarine. So I'm going to take my black crayon and I'm just going to put some little dots. If I have a black crayon, there's a gray one. Sometimes we don't have all the colors in our boxes. There's a black one. All right, I'm just going to put little dots right around the orange part. And hi, Luciella, how are you? And right around the portholes and right around my window. That way they don't look like they're just floating there on the submarine. They're actually attached. It'd be pretty bad if we were underwater and the windows were just floating there and just floated right off. All right. There we go. There's my windows and there are my portholes. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do, once we're done with that, you're going to take your bag that has your little tissue paper squares in them. You should have enough to go around the whole outside of your plate. So if we fold this that way, see how they're right around the whole outside? That's what I did. Start on the front though, because if you don't have enough to go on the back, you're not going to see the back anyway. So we're going to take our glue, and we're not going to do the whole thing yet because the glue will dry before we're done. I'm just going to put glue on, maybe a fourth of the plate. I'm going to pretend there's a line here and a line down. There's the fourth of a plate. A fourth means you have 4 parts to make a whole thing. So I'm going to put glue just on this part for right now. And I'm going to take my squares. I'm going to scrunch them up like that. And I'm just going to stick them right on my plate. See how that's starting? Hi, Ellie. Hi, Colt. That's what we're doing. We're doing this all around the plate, okay? And if you would rather take your squares and just glue them down like that, a whole piece of don't scrunch them, that's okay too. You can do that too. I think I might do that on the back because it'll just save us some time. And like I said, if you see that you might not have enough squares to scrunch all the way around, go ahead and put them down without folding them, without scrunching them up. Because that's still going to look like the ocean. And that's what we're going for. We just have to do all this around. Sometimes they stick together a little bit too. You have to really work at them to get them apart. Hi, Everly, how are you? And sometimes that's a little bit frustrating. You might want to have a grown-up help you separate these. I know sometimes I like to have help. Just scrunching around. Now once you get the one part all covered that you have the glue on, now I'm done with that part. So now I'm going to put glue on this part, up to the half, right where the tail is. I'm going to take my glue on around. And like I said, you can use a glue stick. You're going to need a good bit of glue. So if you have a glue stick, really get the glue on there. And we're just going to continue to put our paper around. Sometimes it doesn't want to come apart. I tried to get them all apart for you when I put the kits together, but some of the papers just wanted to stick. This takes the longest part, longest time. You might want a grown-up to actually help you glue these down so it doesn't take so long. All right, now what I'm going to do with the last half, since our time together is limited, I am going, the last part of my plate, I'm going to glue these down without scrunching them, because that goes a little bit faster, and I want you to be able to get your whole thing done, okay? All right, there's my front. Now that's really what we're going to see, okay? So if you can scrunch the front pieces, that's really great. So I'm going to put glue all over the back, and I'm just going to glue my pieces down without scrunching them. Still takes a little bit of time, but not quite as much. And if you're putting them down without scrunching them, you can go ahead and put glue along the whole plate. It's not going to dry that quickly. Just make sure you get it on there. And I'm just going to take pieces and lay them down. And still, sometimes it's hard to get the pieces apart. You might find that you think you've glued just one piece down, but you've really glued two, and after everything's dry, one piece will just kind of fly off. I've had that happen. We're getting there. You can do a lot with tissue paper. I like doing crafts with tissue paper. It's fun to cut. It's fun to glue. It's not real heavy. And I like paper plates too. I like doing crafts with paper plates. I do a lot with paper plates. All right, I'm almost done. Yeah, I got two here, and I don't know if they're going to, there we go. All right. Now see, there's my back. That doesn't look bad at all. That looks kind of cool. So the next thing we're going to, the next thing we're going to do, I'm going to take your stickers. You got 4 little fish stickers. And we're going to pull them off. We're going to put them down here in the front like they're in the ocean. You can put them anywhere you want. If you want one jumping up on the submarine, you could do that too. If you want more than 4 fish, if you want to draw your own little fish, or maybe octopus or some starfish or something like that, and glue them on to your submarine and to the ocean, you can do that too. You can put as many fish on here as you want to put. I only have 4, so I'm only going to put them on the front. I think I'm going to make this one kind of jump jumping up towards the submarine. See how he's kind of jumping out of the water there towards the submarine? Okay, now once you get your fish on, here comes the fun part. This line that we have right here, we're going to fold our plate down along that line. And what's going to happen is the tail and the submarine are going to pop right out. That's what's going to happen. Have to fold it and make sure we get it creased down really good. Just like that. Look how that popped up out of there. And guess what happens now? You put it down on the table and it will rock along. There it goes. A rock and rollin' submarine. There you go. Well, that's our craft for today. I hope you enjoyed it. And come back next week when Miss Carol will have another great craft to go along with our story time. See you later. Bye-bye.